On today's Worship Leader Wednesday episode, we're going to give you some tips that are going to allow you to nail your audition. So we have made a few videos here at Worship Tutorials, a few Worship Leader Wednesday videos about how to hold an audition or whether you should hold an audition if you're a church. This video is sort of on the flip side of it. What if you're a musician, a guitar player, a vocalist, keyboard player? It doesn't really matter what, drummer. If you're a drummer, please go audition because churches all over the world, everybody needs a drummer.
Can you start tomorrow?
Yeah. But this video is for you if you're a musician. Maybe you've just found a new church or you moved to a new city, and you want to get on the team and say that church holds auditions. We're going to talk about how you can prepare for that and put your best foot forward. So Fuller, how many auditions have you held? How many people have you seen audition in your career?
Oh, that I've auditioned?
Yeah, it's got to be hundreds at this point.
Oh, over
right?
hundreds. Yeah, probably, I don't know, maybe 300 or 400 people.
So Fuller has...
Not including video ones, like video auditions.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Which is a lot, too.
So what should people do to help themselves nail that audition?
Yeah. So I think with auditioning, there's a couple things. One, you got to be ready.
Yeah.
You got to be ready, and you got to want to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised how many times that I've seen people audition that I'm not even convinced they want to do it.
Really?
Yeah. You kind of like, it doesn't look like they're enjoying themselves, and so I don't know if I guess there's two schools of thought. If you've never performed for someone before, if you've never been on stage, if you have no experience playing in bands or anything like that, and this is your first opportunity, it's going to be pretty nerve-wracking. Yeah. So I think the remedy for nerves is preparation.
Yes.
So the first thing is just prepare. Mm-hmm. Prepare. Chances are if you're doing an audition for a worship team, which many of you might be, you've been working for the last year or so developing your skills, right? Either vocally or on your instrument. Chances are you're probably only going to be doing one or two songs.
Yeah.
Most people when you audition, it's not like you're going to play an album worth of material.
Right.
So you're going to only be playing one or two songs. So I would just live with those songs. You should be able to play the songs eyes closed, half asleep. And be really comfortable. Get them under your fingers.
And this is assuming that the church is going to have been in contact with you about an audition and given you the material that they want you to use.
Sure,
so
yeah.
If they followed our advice, anyway, they have pre-selected some songs and given them to you.
Yeah.
I would imagine, though, some people may go into an audition and
play me something.
Play something.
Yeah, I think that probably happens.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary when someone asks you to play something. You're like, I've played a million songs, but when you ask me to play something, I suddenly don't know any of them.
Right. Yes.
So have something prepared. Yeah, because you might show up and it might be some guy in a room going, hey, all right, play me something.
Yeah.
So then play something.
Have something ready.
But play something really good.
And hopefully you'll know what the church expects from you prior to going to the audition. I would say if a church has given you no indication of what they want in an audition, maybe that's not a worship team you want to be a part of. You probably can't expect a lot of preparation,
Yeah. Here's an easy tip. Be on time.
Yes.
Like if you have an audition where other people are auditioning, most likely you have a time slot. Like you're from 5:15 to 5:30. Be on time. Be early. Don't be late, because I think being late actually adds to the nervousness.
Yeah. Another big factor in an audition is going to be the way you present yourself, and it's kind of a holistic way of thinking about it. It has a lot to do with, like, if you watched our stage presence video from one of the previous Worship Leader Wednesday videos, we talked about things like energy, smiling, that kind of thing, looking straight ahead, not down, not buried in a music stand, things like that. But also how you present yourself has to do with, the way that you dress. I wouldn't show up to an audition wearing like shorts and a t-shirt, for example. I would probably present myself the way that I would dress for a Sunday morning at that church.
In I'm not just talking about churches and stuff like that, but in any field, even in the professional music field that we work in, humility is crucial.
Right.
Like humility, like no one wants to hear how great you are. Because I've actually auditioned people that they talk so much before we started auditioning them. In my mind, I was like, there's no way this guy could be that good.
Yeah.
And most of the time,
He's not.
they're the opposite. Like, we had this one guy, he was just talking about he could shred these guitar solos and he does, and blah, blah, blah. And in my head, from experience, I know the guy's probably lying or has a really bad self-image of himself. But in my gut, I was like, maybe this is the time I'm wrong. And so he starts playing, and it was like he'd never heard the song in his life. And there was another guy with me, my friend Ricky at that time, and we were just like, and so just let your skill do the talking.
Yeah.
If you're a killer vocalist, maybe, because this happens a lot too. Maybe you're a killer vocalist. You're serving on your team already. You've been serving at your church for 5 or 6 years, but your spouse gets a job. You have to move.
Yeah.
You go to a new city. You find a new church that has great. You love it. You want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So now you've got someone who's super experienced, super professional, wanting to be involved in another team. So that's one of those situations where you just let your talent do the talking.
Yeah.
Humility is always key. The way you present yourself and the way you just kind of appear, humility always wins. Yeah. I'm always blown away by musicians. Our best musicians are the ones that, like, they don't talk about themselves. They don't talk about how good they are. They just, they show up on time, they're prepared, and they knock it out of the park every time. And you want to hang out with them because they're just so cool. They're such cool people. Yeah. Those are the people, and in the professional world, those are the people that get the gigs. Those are the people that get callbacks, because that's another thing I learned when I lived
humble, be on time, be prepared.
When I lived in Nashville, I learned that the best musicians were the guys that, like, they would play super simple stuff, really good, right? G, C, D, but they sounded great, but they would be professional, on time, super humble. Yeah. They'd help you carry your gear in. Those were the guys that were getting called back. And I'm not talking about Little League. I'm talking about, like, well-known traveling artists and musicians that have record deals. These are the guys and girls that would get the gigs, because people don't want to spend time with you if all you do is talk about yourself.
Right.
So humble it back a little bit.
And on a related note, I would say too, I'm just thinking personally, what would happen if I moved, if something happened, like Angie got a new job somewhere and I moved to a new city and I'm kind of plug into a church and audition to be on the worship team. I would, and hopefully my advice to you would be too, hopefully you're plugged into that church. Hopefully you're not just picking the biggest, most well-known named church in your area and just, I'd like an audition. Hope, I would hope that you're going to that church with your family. You believe in what the mission of the church is, the vision that the church has. And you like the community that is there. But I would try and get to know the worship leader or people on the worship team. I would try and form a relationship probably before I ever even said anything. I might use the fact that, hey, I play guitar and whatever. Yeah. I might use that as a connection. Sure. To make that connection. But it'll have a couple advantages for you. One, that relationship will probably help you. And it's just a good thing to form that relationship. But two, it will allow you to get to know the people that you're going to be working with. So, right. This worship leader is going to be leading you if you make this audition. The people on the team are going to be your teammates that you're doing ministry with. Mm-hmm. I would want to make sure, like, am I going to get along with these people? Yeah. Is this person's leadership style? Yeah.
Know what you're auditioning for.
Right. Is this person's leadership style something that I want to be a part of? Right. Is the church something I want to be a part of? I would say, and I'm not saying that any of you watching this are like this, but I wouldn't just pick the biggest, flashiest named church in the area and try and get on the team just to be on the team. Sure. I would search for community first and then try and be a part of that community.
A couple other practical ideas too. If you're a vocalist and you're auditioning, learn every vocal part. Learn the lead, learn the melody, learn the soprano, learn the alto, tenor, and just know it all. And while you're auditioning, and you could say, "Hey, do you want me to jump to a different part, or do you want?" I like seeing flexibility. When I see a vocalist that can sing a song, but then also can jump on harmonies and blend, those are the people that kind of rise to the top. If you're a guitar player, learn all the guitar parts. Yeah. Know the lead, know the rhythm, know all of the alternate versions and stuff. That way, if they ask you to play a certain part, you'll be able to do that, because you're most likely going to be assimilated into a team of other musicians. And so the real question is not just how you are as an individual musician, but how are you going to fit onto our team? Yeah. Where am I? Because when I'm auditioning people, the first thing I'm thinking about is what team am I going to put them on? Mm-hmm. Where would they fit on our current team?
Yeah.
You know, and how would they fit alongside? You know, maybe a bass player auditions and I'm like, which drummer would they really kind of vibe with? You know, so there's all of these other layers and elements. The best thing you can do is just do your part, do it really well, and always over deliver and under promise. This is what you could expect at maybe your audition. All right, Brian, play me Mighty to Save.
Here we go.
Cool, that sounds great. Do you know any other songs?